Well, greeting everyone. This is Fadi. Welcome back to our video show on Muhammad, a critique. Last time we gave an introduction concerning the extant manuscripts of the so-called Sahaba, or the companion of Muhammad, and Tabi-un, their followers. And today we are going to begin a deep dive into what we meant by that. And with that, I'm going to turn the mic over here to our dear brother, Jay Smith, who's with us here in studio to unpack all of that for us. Welcome back, Jay.
Yeah, thanks. We are at that point now where we want to go and put things on a timeline. This is what Muslims don't like, because by putting it on time, you see exactly year by year by year how huge a gap we have. But the claim has always been by Muslims that they have eyewitness accounts, and that's the criteria we're looking for, eyewitness accounts of what actually happens. Like when there's an accident, the police put the sign out there and they say, on this date, at this time, if you were here, call this number. They want the people who actually witness the accidents to call the police. In the same token, we demand the same of any historical claim. And there are many historical claims. Islam makes them, we make them, every religion makes them, every country and a culture makes historical claims. And therefore you need to be able to support those claims. And that's all we're asking of Islam. We've already had to do that. The same thing has been hammered on us since the 1800s in Germany with a school in Tübingen, the university, and of course people like Wellhausen and others. So we're just demanding the same thing that has been demanded of us. Mm-hmm. Where are the dates of these manuscripts? Show us the names of these people and look at the manuscripts. Now, there have been 5 manuscripts that have been really offered and forwarded. One is the Muwatta of Ibn Malik. The other one is the Sahifa of Hamman bin Munabbih. The other one is a Musnad of ibn Hanbal. Actually, we're talking about 6. And then you have the Musnad of Abdul Razak, the Musnad of Al-Taylisi, and also Abi Shayba. I know I'm desecrating your language, forgive me.
Maybe we can show it to the people.
Well,
also.
I don't want to put that up there yet because those are the dates we're looking at. So I'm going to be looking at those because those are the ones that Farid introduced.
Okay.
Right? He introduced those dates. And so since he said that these are the Sahaba, these are the ones that were right there. They saw what Muhammad did. So they would be, therefore, people who are right next to Muhammad, right? The companions of the Prophet. No, they weren't. Let's go and put their dates up now. So you ready? You write, as I put them up there, you give their names. Let's go to the slide. Here's the claim that these are the Sahaba, the Tabi-un, these are the companions. So therefore, they should be 7th century. I put 8th century up there on the slide just to give them a little leeway. Those are not the dates. So what's the first guy's name? That's the what?
That Muwatta ibn Malik.
And notice what's the date we have for him?
At least 200 years later. Which
9th century, not 7th century. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm actually going to change that. But hold on. What's the next one?
This one is Ibn Munabbih.
Okay, it's the Sahifa of Hamman B. What's the date on that one?
Also 12th century. That's
12th century. That's 500 years later. Here's another one.
Musnad ibn Hanbal.
13th century. 600 years later.
And Musnad Abdul Razak.
13th century again, 600 years later.
And Musnad, this
Taylisi.
guy, Taylisi, yeah. This is 13th century, which is 600 years later.
And then finally,
Abi Shayba.
13th century. Notice these are the 6 that they claim. I didn't claim these. This is their claim. This is Farid's claim. And he's saying every one of these are the ones who really were there. They were there. They were eyewitness to the event. Conclusion, these documents were supposedly created in the 7th century, yet look at the dates. They do not begin to appear until the 9th to the 13th century. Therefore, they are 200 to 600 years later. What that means is that they are all written by others hundreds of years later. Consequently, they are all redacted attributions.
That's right. And also the other observation anyone can make right now looking at those, how come we don't find any of them in the well-accepted body of resources and traditions?
Explain what you've just said.
For instance, Ibn Hanbal, for instance, or Ibn Malik, and even Munabbih, they will tell you, oh, these guys wrote hadith also, and they were so close to the action. Fine. I don't find it in a Sunni hadith collection. I don't find it in a Shia hadith collection, which means that whomever decided that these are the acceptable bodies of hadith are more reliable than these ones.
These names are never up there with the traditional 6 hadith collections.
That's right.
The 2 CIRA collections, and Al-Tabari, who comes from the Tafsir al-Tahriq. You don't hear about any other names. You don't hear these names at all. And one of the reasons is they're writing in a totally different genre. Malik and Hanbal are talking about Sharia. These are law. These are fiqh.
And they're founders of Sharia schools.
There you go. They're founders of schools of Sharia. So therefore, they're not in the same class. They're not, and we don't really want them. We don't need them because they don't tell us much about how Islam began. They're not historical. These are laws. These are how you institute laws, depending on what the problem is. So it's a completely different genre. That's why you wouldn't look for them.
Right, and even Ibn Munabbih, when you do a study on that, they'll tell you that there were some questionable things, whether about those who reported what he says or maybe in his own reporting.
Okay, now I'm going to show you on a timeline. Let's do this real quickly. Look at the time. Let's go back to the slide again. Look at the timeline here. Let's go to the slide, and this is you love. These are my timelines. I love these timelines. So there's where Muhammad dies in 632. Now we're told that all these 6 were right there, right alongside him, or immediately right after him. So they're the companions of the Prophet, and these are the ones who heard it from the companions. That's a lie. So let's put up where they are. Well, we now see that if you look over here, you see that the Muwatta of Ibn Malik is the earliest. That is the 6th century, the 9th century. Munabbih is the 12th, as we said. Here is Hanbal is the 13th. So is Razak. So is Tailisi. So is Shaiba. So they're all 13th. See how much later they are? Huge, isn't that? So the conclusion, let's get rid of them. Bye-bye. Don't we need them anymore? The conclusion is that all Muslims today believe that the stories surrounding Muhammad's life were written by the Sahaba, or the Tabi-un, 1st and 2nd generation. Thus by eyewitnesses, which is what you want. That's what you need. That's the criteria we're demanding. Yet we now find out that they were all written by others 200 to 600 years later and simply redacted back to the 7th and 8th century. Thus they are all probably fraudulent.
Well, I mean, let's use Bukhari as an example. Bukhari claims that the hadith in his collection were attributed to Muhammad through one of his companions. But Bukhari is the one who collected it 240 years later. That doesn't make Bukhari one of the Sahaba. He's just relying on hearsay, technically speaking.
And to be fair, Muslims are not saying that Bukhari is a Sahaba. They haven't said that.
Yeah, I'm just using that as an example of what you're trying to say.
But they're saying these guys are.
Right.
That's why we're attacking. Now, we're going to end this episode here, but I'm going to come back to that Muwatta. See that Muwatta right there? He's the earliest. He is in the 9th century. And some will say, yes, see, we've got someone from the 9th century. At least you have to accept that, Jay. Well, we're going to shut that down real quick, because this is all over the internet, because people have come back, and I've been getting email after email. Fadi has been laughing at us and mocking us. What about the Muwatta? The Muwatta of Ibn Malik. So next episode, we're going to shut down the Muwatta of Ibn Malik as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I hope that you are starting to track with us about why these dates and those names are going to be important in your discussions, because they'll be brought up to your attention. I remember the first time somebody brought Ibn Munabbih to my attention. I want to say it did basically cause me to take a pause, make sure that I know what I'm talking about, do my own homework on that, and then at the end of the day, I discovered that it is meaningless. It didn't really have any impact whatsoever. Not to mention, it's not even considered that much important by own Islamic scholars, and that's why it's not part of these authoritative collections. So until hopefully we meet again next time, make sure you guys go and double check any of these dates and names that we are sharing with you, and you'll be surprised how accurate we are when it comes to those kind of information. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, everyone. God bless. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And ring the bell so you will be notified when we release new content. Our mission is to reach Muslims with the gospel of Jesus Christ and help Christians engage with their Muslim neighbors. If you want to join us in this life-changing work, please support us on patreon.com/CIRA International, or just click on the link below.